Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of FAQ Friday. Today is going to be the Ask Bobbie video. I put up a video I think 2 weeks ago asking you guys to ask me and Josh questions for an Ask Bobbie video and for a boyfriend tag video. I seem to have gotten a lot more questions for boyfriend tag video than I have for Ask Bobbie video, so I figured I would do the Ask Bobbie video first since I haven't really gotten a lot of questions about that, and then Josh and I would do the boyfriend tag video later when we can actually like coordinate schedules and be in the same room at the same time. Did get a lot of questions for me, but I think I should have been a little more specific when I said ask me questions. Because I thought people were going to be like, oh, well, you know, where'd you go to elementary school? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite, you know, shoes to wear, etc. And people are like, how do you do this with a lace front? Or how do you do this with synthetic? What's your favorite type of this? And I'm like, oh, I should have been specific. So this is going to be an Ask Bobbie about himself video. I think I should do maybe later an Ask Bobbie about hair video, and I can like kind of just like quick answer some questions about that, because I do get questions like that a lot. But I kind of wanted to sit and talk about myself, because who knows me better than me, right? Of course, right. Made it really, really strong. I don't know how it happened. It's stronger than it normally is, which is usually really strong. It's even stronger. Don't know what happened. I had to put a lot of milk in it today, so it's like really like, I don't know why, but hey, at least I'll be up all day, right? Originally, I was going to write all these questions out on a piece of paper, but then some of them were like really long and really in depth and were really like 15 questions put into 3 sentences. So I was like, I'll just write down the names of the people that asked me the questions, and then I'll actually go on YouTube and look at that. So here we go. Okay, so first question is asked by Andrew Davey, and he says, dare I ask, would you ever consider doing a show here in Vegas? Oh, and what drew you into the wig business? I've really come to love your Drag Race reviews. You're one of the few drag pundits who actually know what you're talking about. So I just have to say a big thank you to Andrew for watching all my, you know, Drag Race review videos and saying that I know what I'm talking about, which is amazing, because some people try to give me shit, and it's like, no, I actually do know what I'm talking about. This is kind of what I do all the time. So anyway, just thank you for that really sweet comment. So mwah, thank you so much. Doing a show in Vegas. I don't know if you mean in drag or for like wigs. If you know, I were to headline a show in Vegas or something as a performer, I don't really know if I could do that. I'm not a big, you know, I'm not a big fan of like doing the same thing every day, all day, every day, like the same show, you know, 3 or 4 times a day, whatever they do in Vegas. I don't know if I could do that. I could probably do wigs in Vegas, like if I did what I did now and I kind of like bounced around from show to show to hairdresser, just kind of swung and moved around. I could probably do that. I don't think I could be full-time. But that's me now. You know, things could change in a year and I, you know, could change my mind. But for now, I don't know if I could do that. And then what drew me into the wig business, I always liked hair and wigs and makeup and stuff. Like when I was little, I had American Girl dolls and Barbies. And I remember every time we'd go to Mexico, they had the little cosmetology heads on the stand and they all had the braids, because they would, you know, braid your hair at the resort or at the little towns where you went, and it was like $1 a braid or something stupid like that. And I always wanted one of those heads, and then my mom and I went to Sally Beauty, and they had them. So I remember getting one. I was maybe like 11 or 12. I was young. And then I just started doing hair from there, and like my mom had some old wigs that she used to wear like in the 70s and the 80s, and I would play with those. And it really wasn't until I got to college and I was an actor, but I worked in the costume shop, and then they knew that I could do like some hair and makeup stuff, so they just started throwing me wigs to do. So it was kind of like, not necessity, but it was fun, and I was, you know, having a good time doing it. So that's kind of how I started doing wigs in college. Question is from Sky is Love. She left me 2 comments actually, but the other one's all about wigs, so I'm only gonna read the one about me. Hey Bobbie, I don't know if this is too personal, but I've always wondered how one manages to live the city life, lol. I'm in love with the city and would dream to live somewhere in the village or close by. How did you figure out to move to NYC? What would your advice be to someone considering it? By the way, have you ever shopped at a beauty supply on 35th Street? I went there the other day and fell in love. I believe it's called Beauty 35, but I could be wrong. Yes, it is Beauty 35. I go there all the time, especially if I'm on a show and I have to run down to get something at beauty supply really quick. Beauty 35 is right there. It's great. They pretty much always have exactly what I want, so I do go there a lot. I like them. How did I figure out to move to the city? I always wanted to live in New York. When I was little, I wanted to be on Broadway as an actor. So my mom and I would come up to the city 3 or 4 times a year. We'd come for like 3 days, see like 5 shows. Like, that's all we did, was we would come up, we would see shows, and we'd go home. Like, that's all we did. So for me, it was always just like, it was always going to happen because I knew where I wanted to be. I knew what I wanted to do. Advice for moving to the city: save as much money as you possibly can. Put away, you know, even if it's like $1 or $2 a day or from a paycheck or something, put away as much money as you possibly can, starting as early as you can. Because you never know when your restaurant will close or your bar will get shut down that you're working in or whatever, so you always have to kind of be safe and prepared. And also, if you're going to move to the city, at first, I mean, the village is great, but if you don't already live here and you don't have, like, an amazing job or a family that helps you or anything, you really need to go to, like, Harlem or the Bronx or parts of Queens and Brooklyn, just because you need to save money. And, I mean, yes, you will have, like, an hour commute into the city every day for work or whatever, but it's so much easier to pay, like, $500 or $600 for a room in, you know, the outskirts of the city than to pay $1,500 for a room in the village. It's, you know, it's just easier that way. So that's my advice, is to save money and to look at spaces that aren't in Manhattan, or if they are in Manhattan, really, really, really high up. I hope that helped. Zachary Garland asked me, I know someone asked below, but does Josh have a drag persona as well? Do you guys live together for your drag outfits? Do you have someone that helps you make them, or do you buy them, make them yourself? I do want to say I absolutely love your tutorials. I'm just starting out and you have helped me immensely. I even own one of your lace fronts. I also think your drag name is awesome. I like the play on words, but I can't seem to come up with the original one for myself. Thank you so much for all your compliments and your business and buying one of my wigs. I love that. Thank you so much. Drag name. My friend actually made mine up. My friend Ray and I, like 3 or 4 years ago, were talking about drag names. Originally, my drag name was Fermata Sonata because I was like, I'm a singer and it's music related and I think it's cute. And most people were like, that's not cute. So I think there's actually a video of me, if you Google Fermata Sonata on YouTube. I'm pretty sure there's a video of me singing Patti LuPone or lip syncing to Patti LuPone. I'm not sure. I have to look that up. So she made that up for me. Josh, yeah, Josh does have a drag persona. He doesn't really do it as much anymore, but his name's Kiki Couture. Do we live together? Yes and no. He technically has an apartment in Harlem. Harlem. He spends about like 1 night every like 3 months there. So basically, yes, he does live with me. As for my drag outfits, I don't have anything in my drag closet yet that has been made specifically for me. Like, all of my really cute, like, sequin beaded dresses, all of those I've gotten at thrift stores. And they've usually been about 30 or 40 bucks. So check out a local thrift store. I also love Rainbow, so I get a lot of separates, like tops and skirts and belts and accessories at Rainbow. And so I have like a dress, I have a really cute dress that's from Target. I have dresses from all over the place. I do run into the problem, though, with my sizing, especially now that I actually own a real corset. I find that everything looks like a box on me because my waist is so much smaller than my boobs and my butt. So I actually have to go in and really take in the waists of everything. But for the most part, I can do that myself, either by hand if it's something beaded, or I can do it on a machine. Quick and easy. But yeah, I actually am doing a pageant next month, and I'm having somebody make my talent costume for that. So I'm excited to actually have like a piece of couture that was made just for me. I'm excited. But yeah. Lucas Huseth, I'm sorry, Huseth, Huseth. Hey Bobbie, love your work. Out of pure curiosity, do you have another wig maker that you especially look up to? This is the kind of question that I wanted to get. I wanted to get questions of people asking me, like, who do you look up to? Who are your idols and stuff like that? So I do have to say that probably my biggest wig idol is a man named Paul Huntley. He is a Broadway wig designer. He has been designing on Broadway for decades. He's done film, television. He's basically built a wig for every single famous person that's ever done a Broadway show. There was a time where he was the only Broadway wig designer. He was designing every single show that came into town. Now there's a lot more of them. So Paul does a couple shows a year. But I've worked on, geez, how many Paul Huntley shows have I worked on? I think 2, 3. And I've met him, and just meeting him the first time was just like, I like died. It was so cool to meet somebody that I've looked up to for so long. I've known who Paul was since I was like in middle school. I've always known who Paul was. And just to finally meet him and to work on a show with him and have him like compliment my hairdressing and just like be funny and be a great person. That was so great. And so Paul Huntley is definitely someone I really look up to. I also really look up to Perfidia. Perfidia and I are friends. I've done some lace fronts for him. He's a Broadway hairdresser. He's actually on Hedwig right now with NPH. So if you guys see any pictures of NPH, that is Perfidia's work. Perfidia is well known for wig stock. And he just was like kind of like the original drag wig person. He does all these huge, like 15 wigs put together. Just like, he's nuts and so incredibly talented and such a great person and a great friend. So yeah, I look up to Perfidia and Paul Huntley the most, I would think. Dennis Marquez. Hey Bobbie, I have a question. No matter how much I love your RuPaul videos, when the series ends, will you put up new wig styling tutorials? I know you're crazy busy, but maybe as you're working on an order, you could film some stuff for us. And a boyfriend question. I have a boyfriend as well for 6 years, and we live in a very tolerant part of the world, but we wouldn't feel comfortable to walk around hand in hand somehow. Do you guys do that? Hi. So part 1, about the wig styling tutorials. Yes and no. Since I do teach classes now and I teach lessons, I will not be doing any like full wig styling tutorials, like set and comb out, stuff like that. Just because that's stuff that people pay me for me to teach them. So why would someone take a class with me if I'm putting it out there for free? And it's also much easier to do that kind of stuff hands-on versus a video. That being said, I will have some new videos about like augmenting wigs or, different ways of setting them. But as for a full styling tutorial, no, sorry. As for walking hand in hand, Josh and I walk like arm in arm, hand in hand all the time. Like we kiss in public. I don't think I'm personally not, too scared about it. But that's me. But like I also live in New York, so I don't really know. I'm not sure where you live. But if it is tolerant, then I don't see why you wouldn't be able to walk hand in hand. Josh and I do it all the time, like arm in arm or hand in hand, whatever. So I've never really gotten catcalled or issues or problems or anything. But, I'm not sure where you live, so I'm not sure how things go there. So, yeah, really love. Oh, the first half of this is a lace front question, so I'm gonna skip that. What is your favorite perk of being a drag queen and dating a makeup artist? I'm sure there are many. My favorite perk of being a drag queen is kind of like being my own advertisement, which is kind of how Bernadette got her start. I was like, well, like I want to do drag wigs and I want to, get in drag, so why not like have her be like my spokesmodel and have her be my advertising. So that's kind of where she came from, but I started having so much fun with it that it kind of like morphed into something else. But I love, as any drag queen or gay boy knows, like, the best part about being in drag is kind of the attention, and kind of just having people coming up and talking to you, and people wanting to know who you are, and people complimenting you on your look, or your hair, or your dress, or your shoes, or your face, or whatever. And I'm not saying that, like, I do drag because I have low self-esteem, or because I want the attention. That's not at all what I'm saying. But it's definitely nice to get the attention, especially given like the beauty parameters that gay men all seem to believe and fall into these days. it's very interesting to see the types of guys that would never talk to me or say anything to me as a man, but are like in love with me and compliment me so much in drag. It's kind of like, if I was a man, you would have no idea who I was, and I'd probably disgust you. So that I think is a perk, is getting to meet all these people and getting to meet people that inspire me and getting to meet other drag queens. Like I remember when I met Bianca Del Rio last year for the first time, I like freaked out. So that's part of it, I guess, is that's a perk, is like getting to meet people and getting compliments. As bad as that sounds, I'm sorry. Dating a makeup artist perk. I do get some free shit sometimes. He'll bring me some MAC stuff, or he gives me like a lot of his back to MAC, so then I can go and trade them in for lipsticks and stuff later. So yeah, back to MACs and free shit. It's a pretty good perk. And my last question. Oh, here he comes. What's your hair look like?
I have no idea.
It doesn't look bad.
Crazy.
You don't look crazy, do you?
I just have a color weave.
Okay, so the last question of the day is from Brenda Baum. And she asks, hey, Bobbie, how long have you been doing drag? How did you come up with your character Bernadette, name, style, and personality? I found your channel and your reviews of RuPaul's Drag Race. Love your commentary and love whenever Josh peeks into your videos. Hugs to you both. Hi, Brenda. Thank you so much. I've been doing drag as, like, Bernadette, like, I've been doing drag for about a year now. The first time I went out was April of last year, so now we're in May, so it's been a year. But I have been experimenting with drag for a very long time. In college, even like starting as early as freshman year, I would go out and drag for Halloween and for parties, but I didn't really have like a persona, and I didn't really want to perform. It was just kind of like for fun and for dress up. How did I come up with Bernadette? I'm still kind of trying to figure her out. You know, I've always loved the retro eras and the vintage eras, like the 40s and 50s and the 60s and the 30s and the 20s, and just basically anything before like 1970 I'm in love with. Even some stuff in the 70s I love. But that's kind of where that came up from, and I feel that like I just love classic beauty, and I feel especially for drag, there's too many drag queens out there trying to be fishy and trying to be a real girl, and most of them look like crap. And just like this hoochie mama, nasty Nicki Minaj crap, I'm just over it and I don't like it. So for me, I think that, which is what he does, I find for me...
Excuse me, how dare you?
Are you even in the shot right now?
Talk about my hoochie mama drag.
Right. Well,
sorry I like to be naked. Leave me alone.
At least he's wearing pants. It's like, I just loved the retro aspect of everything. And also I feel that like there's so many big girls out there that don't know how to dress their body and don't know how to properly shape themselves. And I think that if more bigger girls would focus more on a retro or vintage silhouette, that they would look better and they'd be happier versus like having their legs and their hoochie out the whole time. So that's part of it. And also, like, that's the kind of hair that I love to do. I love to do anything with waves or victory rolls or finger waves. I love to do all that kind of stuff. So it kind of just went hand in hand that my drag hair aesthetic will also went into my clothing aesthetic. What else? My name, my friend Ray made it up for me. She gave me she would text me names of drag names, and then we would try to figure out which one I liked the best. And at one point, it was between Vera Kennedy and Bernadette Housedown. And my voice teacher said that I should go with Vera Kennedy because she wanted me to sound something more like, you know, something more elegant and something beautiful. And then I wanted to do Bernadette Housedown because I thought that that was funnier. So I ended up going with Bernadette. But I actually did make a wig called the Vera Kennedy, which was one of the first styles I made when I was still on eBay. Personality. Bernadette really at this point doesn't have kind of her own personality yet. I've only co-hosted a show once, so I'm still like green when it comes to being on a mic and when it comes to like having a personality. But I really do love, like, Ben de la Creme, like how Dela has a completely different personality and voice than Ben, and I really like that. Not that I want, you know, Bernadette to sound completely different than me and to be completely different from me, but she is a different aspect of me and she is a different side of me, so I feel that hopefully soon I can kind of figure out where she's going and what she's gonna do. Yeah, what else? Yeah, you love whenever Josh peeks in, which he just did twice. Oh, that's it. That's my last question. So, okay. Thank you guys again so much for all your great questions. And be sure, I'm going to post the link in the box below. Please be sure if you guys have any questions for Josh and I for boyfriend tag. I'm probably going to do that in another 2 weeks. So go to the video below and click over there and leave me some comments for Josh and I over there. And in a couple weeks, we'll go ahead and do the boyfriend tag video together. In the meantime, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Check me out on all the fun social media stuff down in the box. On everything except for Facebook, I'm WigginOutBZ, same as on here. On Facebook, I am facebook.com/BobbyPins, same as my website, BobbyPins.com, and my business Instagram, which is BobbyPins.com, all written out. So please feel free to check out all that fun stuff. I'm about to get an amazing, huge shipment of wigs next week. So keep your eyes on BobbyPins.com in the meantime. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday for another Wiggy Weavy Wednesday and a tutorial. Yay! So thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.